Yeah, sorry about that, y'all. You know, this technology be acting a little bit crazy sometimes, and especially because I was getting into the good, about to talk about this sex thing. I know I'm waiting. Y'all coming back in. Y'all coming back in. Come on back in. Come on back in. um, yes, come back in. Yes, Nicole, I'm Annette. Hello, Omobi. Yes, so Ifa-Bamila, Aboro Aboye. So, Sarah, how you doing, my darling? Yes, yes, Iya Lagbar. I know I'm flowing, and you know, but they not gonna, they can't stop the shine. They can't stop the shine. So we're saying that I was saying that sex, right? That's how we got here. And this is why we don't see sex as a negative thing. We don't see sex as sin or any of that kind of nonsense, because how could what brought us to earth be a sin? That makes no sense, right? So the greetings that we do with the way that we enact our humility with our bodies is also reminiscent of the positions that we take in reproduction, right? Because the man lays down and his sexual organs touch the ground, right? So that's getting energy and power from the ground. And the woman kneels down. That's the position that women traditionally would take when they gave birth. And so it's opening the yoni to the earth to get that energy. And also it's like a silent prayer that you will be kneeling down to have your own children, right? And so these two positions are actually displaying humility, but they are also displaying our understanding of how we got here, right? And praying for our procreative powers to continue, right? We pray always that there will be sperm to impregnate the eggs, and we pray always that there will be reasons to kneel down, that we will always be kneeling down to have our children, right? Those are some of the prayers. And so let's see, somebody said, Divine Art said, I feel gentleness being shunned. Yes, I'm going to talk about that in a minute, because yes, it can feel like a burden when one is gentle, especially if we're in a place, in a position, and we know in a world that does not support that, right? So gentle character, humility, right? And so we kneel down, we prostrate. These are the reasons why we salute our elders in this way. And so for those of us in the diaspora, we tend to only use those postures of saluting and greeting within our spiritual traditions, right? So we salute and greet our spiritual elders in this way. And so this is to let you know why that is. It's not about bowing down to people to aggrandize them, right? When we bow down and we prostrate and we kneel and we do those things, we're not doing it to aggrandize the person, even if, you know, because some people really think that that's why people are bowing down. Even if they think that, you know that that's not the reason why. That's why I don't have a problem bowing down to anybody, right? Because the bowing down is showing your humility to Olodumare. The bowing down is showing your humility to the spirits. And in the case that that person is a priest or a carrier of spirit, you're showing your humility to that Orisha or to the spirit that walks with that person. It's not about that person, right? Ekaro ya olaketu. What you're bowing down to is the ashe that they carry with them, right? It's the ashe in their head. It's the Orisha, it's the Nganga, it's the Abosum, it's the Loa. That is what you're bowing to. And so in every tradition, in every tradition within our diaspora practices, we have different ways of saluting, and it's different depending on the tradition. The kneeling and prostration is unique to Yoruba culture in particular. In Haitian Vodou, for example, there is a complex set of movements that's done between two priests to salute each other and also to pass sacred objects between one another. There's a way that that's done. In Palo, there's a way that it's done. In Akan tradition, there's a way that it's done. In Eji tradition, which is out of Senegal. So in every tradition, there is a way for us to greet our elders, to greet our spiritual elders. And the reason why we do that is to express and show, not them, right, not the humans, but it's to show the spirits that walk with them and Olodumare our humility. That's the reason for that. And also, as I said, to give honor to the cycles of life, right? Because without that, we wouldn't be here. Because of the fact that life can be difficult, right? That's one of the reasons why it can sometimes be difficult to maintain character. And so what is the parent of character? The same Odu, Ogbeyonu, Ogbeogunda, says, Suru ni baba iwa. That means that it is patience that is the father of character. Patience, being patient. Why is patience the father of character? Patience is the father of character because much of what we do, much of the time that we display bad character or non-gentle, non-humble character is when we trying to get something without doing the work. Plain and simple. When we don't have the patience to study and do what we need to do in that regard, we might cheat. When we don't have the patience for a tough conversation, we might lie to the person to avoid that tough conversation, right? When we don't have the patience to, earn something of our own, we may steal it, right? And so oftentimes it's a lack of patience that leads us into behaving in ways that are not with what we know we're supposed to be about. Oh, Onika, good morning. You said one of the first lessons I learned from you. Yes, so Adupe, you see, I say this because, and this is what I strive to live by in my life, right? If there's anything, if I've ever, let me say this too, because truth and reconciliation is a part of this, right? That's why that's a very African thing. You see that people always, when in South Africa and some other places, there have been these processes of healing or trying to heal through truth and reconciliation. And notice that the two of them have to go together. Truth first, right, has to come out before the reconciliation. All of that takes patience and humility, right, to say, I was wrong, I'm sorry. That's the biggest thing in the world. So I say to any of you, if I've ever done anything to offend any of you, I'm sorry, right? If I was ever wrong, if I ever did anything that hurt your feelings or that hurt you in any way, I'm sorry, right? And I'm saying that earnestly to each of you who are listening. And I'm also saying that as an exercise for each of us, right? That's all it takes sometimes to exercise our humility, to say, I know that I don't know everything and I may have been wrong. It doesn't matter. Harvard PhDs, people go, oh, Dr. Funlayo. That don't mean I know everything, right? So that's all it takes for that humility, is to say, I'm sorry, to say I might have been wrong, to say, even if I don't see how I was wrong, if I hurt you, I'm sorry for that. I'm sorry that I hurt you, even if that wasn't my intention. That's not the point. The point is being humble enough to say that you're sorry, to be truthful about it. Well, I was in a hurry and I was frustrated, and that's why I yelled at you. So I'm sorry, right? It's okay. And we could do this with our children, because trust, children are very intelligent, right? They see everything. They pick up on hypocrisy. If you're telling them, be nice to people, don't hit, don't yell, and you're hitting and yelling at them, right? Not to say that there's never a place for that, because I believe in discipline, but I'm just saying, especially if it's at a moment where you know that you got extra angry because of something else that was going on with you and it didn't have nothing to do with them, go back and apologize, right? As I mentioned at the very beginning, children are people. They are not your possessions. They are not something to stick in your pocketbook and run around and look cute with. They are people. And as we interact with them, we are shaping their character. We are shaping their ori. We are shaping who they're going to be and what they're going to see as what they should be doing. And so if they learn to lie, right? You lie to them if you're not feeling good or you're upset and they say, Mommy, what's wrong? And you say nothing, don't do that. Don't do that to children, because that makes them distrust what they see. If something's wrong and you don't want to tell them, you can say, you know what, Mommy is upset right now. Daddy is upset right now. Something happened that hurt me or that upset me, but I'm going to be okay. And thank you for being concerned about my feelings, right? That's what you say instead. Don't tell them nothing, because then that you see them go like this and they're like, I don't believe that. What do you mean nothing? Clearly something's wrong with you, right? So having that, again, and that comes back to humility. It might not seem like it, but humility is partially understanding that we don't have to have it all together at every moment, right? We don't have to appear to have it all together at every moment. That there's some things we don't know, that there's some problems we can't immediately fix, that we all have to bow down at moments and say, look, I don't know, or say, look, I was wrong. Right. IG, y'all are about to cut off in a moment. I'll restart it. I'm only going to be here for a few more. But so what I want you to take from all this, I like to give you some wrap ups and some takeaways. Understand that your character is the most important thing you have. It's your highest currency. Your reputation will precede you. Another Yoruba proverb says, Eniyan lashomi, people are my clothes. It is people who cover me. It is people who walk with me, who help me to do the things that I need to do in life. And it is by having good character that you will always have the clothing of other people. The reason why I get so much support and I'm just always so grateful for that is because of the humility, right? I'm never afraid to bow down. I'm never afraid to be humble. I'm never afraid to do those things. Right? I'm always walking with that. For my elders, always giving shout outs to my elders, to my baba, to my yeyes, to all of the elders, and acknowledging what they taught, right? That's another part of being humble and being of good character, is acknowledging where you get your information from, acknowledging who taught you, acknowledging your elders. It's very important. Some folks be I, me, and you would never know that they learned anything from anybody, right? Me, I'm always telling you, okay, my Baba Fakunle, my Ye Fini, my Iya Louis Satish, my Baba Lebuiban, this one, that one. I'm naming, right? And in doing that in itself as well is expressing humility, right? That is showing that you don't know everything, that you didn't just get this information from nowhere, but you're giving homage and honor to all of those who taught you and walking in humility. So remember that your character is your asho, your character is your clothes, right? You can get by on luck alone for a little bit, but it is character that will carry you through. It is your reputation, right? It is your name, having good name and having people always look at you as someone who does what is right no matter what, as someone who treats others with respect. I mean, that's just basic, right? And we have a lot of folks out here, again, who believe that they are above reproach and can just treat anybody any kind of way. And that's not what being a priest is about. That's not what being a spiritual person is about, to be able to allow, I'm Lord in this, and I'm going to put you in a jar, and I'm going to hex this one. And what is that? No, that's not what this is about. Because trust, listen, when you walking in your Iwa-Pele, let's be clear. When you walking in your Iwa-Pele, when you doing what you got to do, you don't have to put nobody in no kind of jars. You don't have to do no hexes. You don't have to do none of that. Because before you can, matter of fact, you'll have to go to your shrines and tell them it's cool, right? Before anything happens, because they'll already be ready to fight for you. When you've had your head on that ground every day in front of that shrine, when you've been doing everything you're supposed to do, when you've had the humility you're supposed to have, when you have shown yourself to be a person of good character, trust. You ain't got to put no hex on nobody. I don't waste no kind of time on none of that. Before I even know it, I got to go and tell them, hey, Ogun, it's okay. Oh, I know this person offended me, but don't worry about it. Right? Don't do nothing. I'm cool. It's all right. Okay? That's the kind of relationship. That's the only thing, is saying no. And again, that's that humility, right? Because look, don't think people ain't done me wrong. They done did you wrong, they done did me wrong. Like yeah, song said, when they turned on you, when they turned on me, right? We all have it. There's always places that people are gonna hurt us and do us wrong. But a part of that character, a part of that Iwa-Pele, it's not being a doormat now. Don't think I'm saying that, because I will surely close the door on folks who are doing me wrong. But at the same time, understanding that it's not on you to seek revenge and do all that. And then a lot of times when we seeking revenge, we going above and beyond what the person even did. They stole something from us. Now we want to kill them, right? It's like, oh, okay, wow, you're going to the next level. You know what I'm saying? And so it's always to keep that humility and always to say, you know what? I can separate myself from this situation, but I don't have to wish nothing bad on nobody. I don't have to go through doing all of that. I just stay high in what I know and who I am, and know that my blessings are going to come through that. Ashe? Yeah, back here. Ashe, and yes. So I'm going to stop there, because that's really it. I mean, this is simple. We want to have good legs like the pigeon. We don't want there to be any place that we are not found in our good character. We want to always display humility, because that is when we display humility, we are displaying it, again, not to people. This is something that we have to understand. Our humility that we are displaying is not for the sake of people. It's for the sake of our divinities, for them to understand that we know we are not the highest powers in the universe, for them to understand and see that we are willing to bow down, and that we are willing to humble ourselves, and that we are willing to walk in the ways of connection, and that we are willing to do all these things. Understand that one of the reasons we connect so closely with the divinities is because they weren't perfect, right? There's nothing, the Orishas weren't perfect. If we read the stories, right, from Odu and from Itan and the diaspora, from the Patakis, we know that they did some things, right? They were human beings at one point, walking the earth just like we are. And that's part of the reason that we relate to them, and that we can take lessons from them. Because in the same way that, for instance, the Bible said, right, that Jesus had to come and be made flesh so that people could relate to him, it's the same thing with the Orisha. They were human. They did things. They had lives. They married, they divorced, they ran around, they, accidentally or wound, killed his whole people by accident. Why? Because he didn't have his patience, right? He got angry and he killed everybody. And then he ran off into the forest alone. And it took Oshun to go and bring him back and say, no, you did this thing, but we forgive you. And we realize that we need you. Even those who sometimes, and so that's another thing that we have to understand. We don't just throw people away because they're not able to do what we need them to do right away. Right? And now, don't get me wrong, that doesn't mean to stay in relationships that are abusive. That doesn't mean to let people walk on you. That doesn't mean any of that, because our tradition also says that a Rumila will peg our enemies' heads to a tree. Hello, somebody. We don't play that. Okay? Let's be clear. We're not turning cheeks and letting people run over us. But what we're saying is, that we always have to be patient, right? Suru, Baba Iwa, patience is the father of character. We have to be patient enough and clear enough to evaluate a situation and see if force is necessary and the degree of force that is necessary. Because exhibiting force beyond what is necessary, right? Again, we're talking about balance. African spirituality is all about balance. We do what we need to do, right? We don't kill 10 chickens just to kill 10 chickens if the Orisha said they want one, right? We do what is necessary and no more than that, right? And so we don't want to be displaying unnecessary force. We don't want to be going beyond what is necessary. We don't want to be taking more than we need. We don't want to be destroying more than we need to. We don't want to be hurting people, right? We don't want to be doing these things at all. And for the women, the last thing that I want to say, and we're going to talk more explicitly about this, but I just want us to understand that this character piece is huge, and anybody that is not displaying, I don't care who, Baba so-and-so, Iya, yay, whoever, if they are not displaying good character, if they are doing things that seem not to make sense, if they're doing things in isolation, right? Somebody told me that they went to receive a hand of Ifa and that there was only one priest there and he didn't bring anybody else with him. And no, right? That's wrong, period. Anything like that, there should be at least 3 priests present. Okay, so understand that you can evaluate things and you can walk away. Just because somebody is Baba Yeye, this does not put them above reproach if their character is not good, if they are not doing the things that they are supposed to be doing, if they're not displaying the Iwapele and the humility. Walk, run away, right? And know and trust. Don't be so desperate. This is one of the things too that a lot of us are desperate for spirit. We are hungry, we're thirsty, and we've been. And look, I want to be a well. That's why I be trying to pour out so much so that. But there's a saying that says, don't be so thirsty that you drink from any cup, because that is how you get poisoned. Right? And so that's why it is important. One of the very last thing I'm gonna say, and then I'm gonna check for a couple of questions. Is that it's okay that you have to take time to evaluate people. You have to take time, because if you just jump into a relationship, it's just like any kind of relationship. If you agree to marry somebody the day you meet them, and you don't know who they are, chances are you're going to end up in a bad relationship. It could work out. They got that Married at First Sight show. Some of them work out, right? But even then, they've been vetted, right? They didn't just pick 2 random people out the audience and say, okay, y'all go. They had experts looking and vetting them and asking them questions and interviewing them and asking them about their past relationships and their patterns and their this and their that. Right? Don't feel like you have to jump on whatever bandwagon there is because you are thirsty for spirit, right? You have to take time and evaluate, go and visit, and again, if you don't live near a person, it might take some sacrifice. I had to travel when I first started in this tradition, right? And go places. So go places, meet people, cultivate your character, and understand that comes first, right? And then that will take you where you need to be. My girl Davina said, what if you don't know what they're supposed to be doing? Oh, you mean in terms of ritual? Yeah, you may not always know exactly what's supposed to be happening in a ritual, but as I always say, if something doesn't make sense, it's probably not right, right? And if something feels wrong, it's probably not right, right? So even if you don't know what a ritual, for instance, is supposed to contain, if, for instance, any priest is telling you they got to sleep with you for any ritual, wrong. Yeah, automatically. I mean, we done heard crazy things. I've heard of men telling women that, yeah, their sperm was Arumila's, divine essence that needed to go in. Wrong. Let me just say that categorically. I don't care what tradition you're talking about. It's wrong, period. Right? Anything that's done in isolation, wrong. Now, nowadays, you can get a reading. And even that, some houses say that if you're going to get a reading from a male priest and you're a woman, then another woman's supposed to be with you. Right? To make sure that, because look, people are still human beings. At the end of the day, going into the Igbodu does not change a man from being a man. They are still human beings, right? And so it's not to say that we have to be on the defensive, but we have to be real, right? And this is why our ancestors did it this way. We did it real. There was no such thing as women being closed up in a place with a bunch of men. That just wasn't it. Or the vice versa, right? It wasn't no boys being closed up in a place with a bunch of women. It was each one learning the things that they were supposed to learn from their own people. The women learning from the women, the men learning from the men, and them coming together, right, when those times were needed. And now I have a lot of opinions, which I'll talk about later, as to what is going on. And actually, I'm gonna just say it now because I'm saying it, and y'all know I keeps it real. A lot of us women, and I'm talking about myself too, because I've been there, are thirsty for male energy and authority. We are, right? As we should be. We all should want to be with who balances us, right? And so there's nothing wrong with that. But understand that trying to fill that need through your spiritual walk is a bad way to go, right? Trying to get in with the Babalawo because you think he's cute or because and trust, believe you me, I sat on my Baba's mat for 2 years every day taking notes for clients. I seen women come in the door with little short skirts on and all kinds of things, wanting more than a reading, as I've said before, right? So it happens, and it happens. And there are men who will take advantage of that. And there are women who will take advantage of it. It's not only men, but I'm as a woman, I'm speaking about men because that has been, the experience that I hear about the most from us women is abuse on the part of men, right? And so, but understanding that sometimes we are inviting a different type of energy to ourselves if we're being honest. And again, that's why truth and reconciliation is the key. If you got involved, got the reading from your last Babalawo because you thought he was cute or you was hoping maybe something would go down, just know that that's what it was, right? And know that that's where you were and whatnot. But understand that that's not likely to take you where you need to go, because especially if someone is enticing you in that way or is playing on those things, and you have people who do that too. You'll have males with houses that'll kind of pit their goddaughters against each other and all kind of things. And women do it too. Again, don't think that I'm only singling y'all out, brothers. Women do it too. There's a lot of power hungry, power tripping women out here who are nasty, who are mean, who seek to lord their power over young women, who don't want to guide them, who don't want to teach them, who are afraid they're going to take their husbands, even whatever the thing is. So don't think it's only about the brothers, right? But that's why this conversation about character is so important, so that we understand that is the key, that we have to know somebody long enough to evaluate their character. We got to ask other people about them. I tell you all day, ask about me, right? Don't ask me about me. Ask somebody else. Ask Renee, ask Akanke, ask Xiomara or Davina, ask Iyalode, ask somebody else. Don't come ask me about my character. Ask somebody else, right? That's where we get that saying out in the hood. Better ask about me, right? Don't ask me, ask somebody else. That's even, look, this is why I love our culture and our ebonics. That's a part of African culture, right? When we say that in the hood, ask about me. We're telling you, go and ask other people who know me. Go and ask other people how my character is, right? Don't count on what I'm telling you, because I might be lying. Of course, if you ask me about me, I'm going to be like, yeah, I'm the bomb, I'm this, I'm that, right? So don't ask me. You go ask somebody else. That's how you find out. So Baba so-and-so, Iya so-and-so, da, 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 da. If you say, well, who can I speak to about you? Or who are your godchildren? Or who are your teachers? And they're all tight-lipped or don't want to say, or oh, you don't need to know that, or buzz, right? Buzz. So all of that, right? It's about character. It is character that we seek first. It is iwapele, gentle and humble disposition that we seek first. Ashe. Ashe. Renee said, you better ask somebody. That's what I'm talking about, right? Ask about me. Brothers, we have to hold ourselves to a higher standard. Ashe. Thank you, Brother Key, for saying that. Yes, yes, yes. How do I involve my sons if I am new to the practice myself? Terry asked. And this is a great question, because I always encourage everyone to involve their children. Teach them everything that you are learning. That's it. That's how you involve them. Take them to the to your ancestral shrine. So the very first thing, if we're talking about shrines, and I'm gonna be coming with something extra special on the ancestors soon, because y'all know I'm a ancestor girl. Do your ancestral work. The best way that I love for people to involve children is doing their ancestor work, because they always love it. They love to hear about the people that they haven't gotten to meet. They love to see the pictures. They love to hear the stories. That's the very first thing. So when you do your ancestral practice, bring them and let them do it with you. Talk to them about their grandmothers and grandfathers that they may not have known. If you don't know their names, if you don't have pictures, you can write their names down, right? Y'all call their names together. If they're named after them, even more beautiful, whatever connections there are. If they love spaghetti and grandpa loves spaghetti, you tell them that, and y'all cook some spaghetti together and put it there on the altar for grandpa, all those kind of things. Just involve them in everything that you do, whatever you learn, and trust, they're gonna learn it better than you. Several people have come to me since they got my ebook, Mojuba, and said, my 10-year-old, my 8-year-old has learned the prayer before me. Of course they will, because children are sponges. They learn everything quicker than you. Davina asked, what if people are afraid to speak against people? Yes, that's a huge, it's huge. It's a huge, huge, huge issue in the community, that people don't want to speak against each other. I have been involved in trying to get together a council. This is one of the reasons, again, that councils are important. A council of elders, a body that we can bring grievances and disputes to and say, this is what's happening, and help to have those people held accountable. I am willing, I'm saying this right now today, not to say that I'm going to get involved in every dispute, but I'm willing to hear things and to help in the ways that I can, right? And to involve as many people, who need to be involved, or to try to get this council together. But me, I'm just getting, into where I am. I'm not an elder yet. And so I encourage the elders really to form a public council that I am absolutely willing to be a part of and help organize, because I'm tired. I'm very, very tired of hearing about all of what is going on in the community, that is going unrectified, and that is really creating a barrier to us progressing. It's like, come on, we're still having the same issues we were having 50 years ago, and we haven't made progress. And so my whole thing is for us to make progress. So anyway, so definitely get in touch with me about that. Is there an Odu about speaking kindly? Well, really just in the 16 laws of Ifa, it speaks about being not lying. And of course, Iwapele and Rere would mean that you are gentle until there's a reason not to be. And so, you know, and there's, I mean, that's it. You know, it's not bad character to defend yourself, and it's not bad character to fight. Ogun is a warrior. He pull that machete out in a minute if need be, but if need be, that's the important part. So we can talk about that a little bit more. We can still love them from across the street. Steve said, am I the only one who feels like she's looking right at me when she says certain things? Y'all are funny. Yeah, I am looking at you. You hear me. Get it, get it. That's right. My almost humility is a problem for me, Iya. I'm honest in that, but I'm learning to be more gentle. Ashe. And see, I love that, Dee. Thank you so much for saying that. That is humility, right? Right there is being willing to admit, look, this is a challenge for me, right? I have challenges too. We all have challenges. So admitting that you have an issue in an area, that right there is a step. So I give you honor and praise for that. Absolutely, absolutely. And know that it's just keeping on working on it. Modupe, I needed this lesson this morning. You're welcome, Ade. Yes, Ashe, Ashe. Someone said, my fiance does not give me any strife about practicing Ifa. He has nothing negative to say. What guidance is there on marrying someone who does not practice? For me, it was not an option, just a point blank period, because there's a difference between somebody having respect for something and them embracing it. It's easy to respect something up to the point that it begins to impede what you want to do, right? But for instance, if he wants to take me somewhere or he wants to go somewhere with me and the Orisha said I can't go, I can't go. So now if he's not, he might respect it, but then it's like, oh, okay, now, all right, I was cool with all that stuff you was doing, but now we trying to do something and you don't want to because some rock said or some whatever. I've seen it, right? So you never know. The issue with any kind of a relationship like that is that you never truly know how the person is going to be when it begins to impact them, right? It's easy to say you're okay with something and that you respect it. As I respect everything, that doesn't mean I'm willing to live with it every day, right? There's a difference. You can respect and accept things, but still not want it to impact your life and be willing to live with it every day. So, you know, just keep that in mind as you move forward with the relationship. I won't say that it can't work, because I know instances in which it does, but it has to be, you know, just the right situation. Ms. Cisco said, how does someone who is trying to connect with a community but cannot find one get involved? Well, the first thing you can do is get involved with us at Ashe Ire. We are pretty much online. You can come to asheire.com. Join our community. We have monthly book discussions. We have retreats. We get together in person as much as possible. You just got to do it, right? If something's important to you, you find a way, period. That's it. There's no easy answer to that, because I know a lot of places, you know, the majority of Orisha people are concentrated on the coasts, and particularly on the East Coast, New York, Florida, DC, you know, there's a decent community in Boston, some other areas. So it can be difficult to find a community depending on where you are. But the other thing is, and as I said, it's more important to connect with people with good character than people because they're Orisha people. So if you're on a spiritual journey and you're trying to connect, just start connecting with people. Don't worry about if they're into Orisha specifically or these kinds of things. Connect with other people who are interested in spirit. Connect with other people who are interested in doing the same things that you are doing. Queen said, that's why I'm divorcing now. He didn't want to live with it every day, like you said. You see? So, and that's with anything. This is not just about Ifa. It's like if a anybody, a devout Christian, somebody who goes to church every day, and the husband or whoever might say, okay, well, I'm not a Christian, but I'm a chill while you go to church. But then the one day he want to do something or whatever, and she's like, I got to go to church, then it's a problem. It's an argument, right? And so for me, I was told to, that I could never be with anyone who would try to take me away from Ifa. And so, Ifa brought me the partner that I needed to have. So that's another thing, is to trust. It doesn't mean that who you get involved with has to be a practitioner, but their spiritual orientation at least has to match yours, and they have to be at least looking at things in a similar way to the way you're looking. I have a challenge with trusting people, and that's why I have no community. Anastasia says, I understand, and that's something to work through, right? We all can have those issues, especially if you've been hurt, but we always have to come back and, of course they say once bitten, twice shy, so I totally understand it. But you always have to come back because we can't do anything alone. So try to work on those trust issues. It came up in divination that I have to marry someone in the spirituality. The person at least has to be open to come learn and come to my LA with me. Yeah, it's important. It's very important. It's very important. Dating is nearly impossible since I started my Ifa journey. Oh, Emil, don't say that. Trust. There are plenty of people out there. Just stop looking. That's what I say. Because stop looking, do your thing, and by you shining your light and doing what you're doing, it's going to attract the person that you're supposed to be with. So stop looking for them. That's another piece of advice, because it was literally when I was like, all right, that they were like, okay, now, here you go. Right? Now that you're not looking for what you think you need, now we can give you what we know you need. Davina says, how do you study with folks meaningfully when they are far away? Teacher and student is an intimate connection. I know many who are initiated but who have weak relationships with teachers in Egbe. Yeah, that's true. It is true. And again, that's why the character piece is important. You have to take time, get to know people, ask about their godchildren, right? Ask their godchildren about them. How often do you speak? For some, and it depends. Everybody's an individual, right? Some people want to be up under their godparents, want to be at their house every day, want to be, doing, and it depends on what your purpose is, right? For me, I knew that I was eventually going to be a working priestess. I'm also a scholar in this tradition. I wanted to learn as much as possible. So I was at my Baba's shrine every single day for 2 years, understand, every day, like it was my job, 9 to 5, taking notes, doing ebo, doing everything. That might not be necessary for someone else, depending on what their aims are. And so if somebody is, if you're far, and then we ended up being far away from each other, and we spoke every day or every other day. And then with my godchildren and my students, we read a book together every month. We have book discussions together. We have these public classes, and then I also do private classes that are just for them, where they can ask questions and we can talk. Whenever I'm in their areas, we get together physically. So there are absolutely ways that it can work, especially now that we have so many ways to be connected with each other. And that was really one of the reasons why I started the prayer and meditation, or why Spirit had me started, is because to help us build that community, so that no matter, even if you just hear those voices of the people who are who called in once a week, that once a week you're going to be connected to 50, 60, there'll be like 60 people on the line every week, right? So that is an enormous amount of people coming together from all across the country, so that if you hear your area code, like, oh wait, there's somebody else in my town that's doing this too. Hey, that's beautiful, right? So we just have to really reach out and seek those connections with one another. Yes, Davina's Keko Circle. So give thanks, give praise, and know too that you may have to travel, right? You may have to, it takes sacrifice. It takes a lot. It can take a lot depending on what's going on. I had to travel. I went to Nigeria. I went and lived in Nigeria. I would travel to get to my Baba's place. At the time, I was living in New Jersey. He lives in Harlem. So I would go an hour and a half every day to his house, to his place, to the shrine, and come back. You know what I'm saying? So this can take work. But the one thing that doesn't take that kind of work, and the one thing you can start doing right now, cultivating your character. Hey. So always touch your head. Ask for Ori Tutu. Ask for your head to be cool. For yourself to walk in peace and clarity always. That's your first practice. Even if this is your very first time hearing about any of this, Ori ni Tutu. Ask for your Ori to be calm and cool. Ashe, ashe. I'm going to stop there so that I can go and enjoy the rest of my Sunday, and you can go and enjoy yours. Always beautiful, always wonderful to be with you all. Thank you so much for your energy. This just excites me. As you can see, I'm passionate, I'm invigorated, I'm excited. I'm so happy to walk with you all on your journeys, and so excited for each of you to continue taking those steps forward, to continue cultivating your Iwapele, to continue cultivating your Iwarere, to continue just being the wonderful, wonderful people that you each are. And I invite you to come on over to asheire.com to get the ebook. If you want to learn the prayer or learn a little bit more about our cosmology, you can get my ebook, $8.88, working those Obatala numbers. You can also join the Akeko Circle. As I mentioned, we read books together, we have private events, we do other fun stuff. And you are also, if this is your first time watching any of the videos, or your first time hanging out with me, you can see more videos at facebook.com/asheire, and check out all the videos that are there, as soon to be on YouTube as well. I'm working on pulling everything over there, so it'll all be in one place. All right, so y'all be wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Anisha, Anastasia, Sarah, you're very welcome. Leticia, Juanita, all of you, that's my girl. That's Mama Juana. She about to have her website. As a matter of fact, I got some of her. This is her Ascended Masters Florida water. Look, she's changing the Florida water game, y'all. She got it all. She's got the Bay Rums, the Florida waters, all kinds of stuff. Y'all know I love to buy from Black women all day, every day. So definitely I'll be sharing that. D, beautiful. Sarah, what about the Cola Nut book? I'm working on that, girl. I'm working on it. I'm hoping that it'll be out by next year. Aminette, Sadio, my Omos, Ade, all of you. Blessings, blessings, blessings. Otaniwe, walking in my purpose. Safia, Davina, Sharifa, all of you. Yomara, who are here on IG. Blessings, blessings, blessings. Much peace, much light, and I will look forward to next time. Odabo.